believe that people are pushing him down so much. I know, and I hate to say, as you said before, it's not just the media, it's the fan base too. Why? Oh, why? I can understand if you're frustrated with the injury. I can get that, but it's Austin Matthews, for goodness sake.
I know. It's really quite something, but it's gonna be a prove a year for Austin Matthews. He's gonna have to go out there and shut everyone up and become the dominant force he was a couple of years ago. I don't think he's gonna press up on 70 goals again like he did a couple of years back, but 50, 55, 58 goals this season, that'll shut everyone up, I think. Like that, is that what it takes? Does it take another 50 goal season to shut everybody up? I think that's probably what it will take for them to really be like, you know what, we were wrong. Matthews is good enough to be able to be a star all on his own. I think it's probably 50 plus this year to do that.
Probably has to be, and it's funny because nobody else is putting that onus on a lot of the other centers. Like, you expect it from McKinnon, you expect it from McDavid, you expect it from Draisaitl, but you're telling me you're not expecting that from Eichel. You're definitely not expecting that from Sidney Crosby nowadays.
No.
Who else did we say was put above? I'll even put Jack Hughes.
Brayden Point.
Brayden Point's a great player, but Brayden Point's never scored more than 50. I think did he ever score 50, actually? I can't even remember.
There's that one year he scored a decent amount, but either way,
he had 150 goals.
It was one season at most.
Yeah, he had one season where he had the 51 goals a few years ago when he had 95 points.
Yeah.
The guy had 82 points this past year in 77 games. Austin Matthews probably would have surpassed that if he was healthy. Easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he definitely could have and probably would have if healthy. That's no slight on Brayden Point. He's still a great player. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. Austin Matthews just an amazing player, franchise player, an elite player, if you will. But slighted again by the NHL Network this time, ranking him 7th. I did see that they put out a new ranking a couple of days ago. Our boy Matthew Nyes showed up on there. So let's take a break, come back. We'll talk about where Matthew Nyes stands on the top 25 players born in this quarter century list that was released earlier this week. And we'll get to some cosign, no sign next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
Today's edition of the Locked On Leafs podcast is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. When you don't have the full picture, you end up leaving money on the table. That's where there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch Money is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization for all your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I found myself looking to see how many subscriptions do I have, and I actually found a few that I didn't even need to use anymore, and that saved me some good money over at Monarch. And if you're working with a partner, it's easier than ever. You can categorize solo accounts and group accounts to make sure that you're keeping track of everything so you have a clear view of your financial health. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DeStefano, Dave Morsuti with you as we are each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, up until training camp. So only a few more weeks left of 3-day-a-week shows. They're back to 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. You can find the Locked On Leafs podcast wherever you get a podcast and also up on YouTube. So just talk about Austin Matthews being slighted at number 7 in the NHL Network's latest center rankings. Did you happen to see where Matthew Nyes ended up on their top players born in this quarter century? So players born in the year 2000 and up. which I guess what are the Gen Zs? Yeah, Gen Zs, I guess, is what that would be. I always get confused of what the heck these generation gaps are. But anyways, yeah, they ended up naming Matthew Nyes. He was the 25th best player born in the year 2000 or later. Obviously, he has a 2002 birth date, but yeah, so Matthew Nyes makes the quarter century ranking for top 25 players born in the quarter century, coming in number 25, Dave.
Yeah, for Matthew Nyes, like, I wouldn't expect him to gain. Like, it's funny how much he's ascended on these lists and how much attention he is getting. I think part of it too is just the type of player he is, how he's built, right? And we had that conversation the other day about how his skating was something that I think was a Pronman, Corey Pronman, that said that his skating wasn't still at a high level. And I'm just like, did you not watch how this guy performed in the playoffs when he just blew past? There was that one goal he scored against the Senators where he absolutely blew past the defender and just skated all alone and scored that one. I think it was a shorthand goal too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, I get it. There are really good skaters in the NHL. I don't think I put Matthew Nyes in the top tier in terms of skaters. But like, I feel like he's one of those players that has just found one way to improve, each and every year. I remember when I first saw the guy make his debut when I was in Tampa, watching him play, and I was already impressed with him in that game. Just that first game he ever played late in the year when everybody else is at their, he's coming right into the NHL. So he's a player that, they obviously, when they made that investment, they knew that they had something, special in Nyes. And it's another reason why I think people are not giving the Leafs the respect they deserve, because they have a player like us with Matthew Nyes. You putting him on a line with Austin Matthews playing probably a more prominent role this year, it's only going to get better. And it's only going to help the Leafs, improve, right? Finding those internal improvements. He's one of those players I don't think there are people are finally giving him his due. I think some people aren't giving it to the degree that other players usually get. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that Matthew Nyes is a guy who I think has an opportunity to also prove to a lot of people that he's more than just a passenger alongside Marner and Matthews last year. He made a lot of things happen. And, I think this will be a prove year for him as well, that he can be a top line player in the NHL and be a point per game-ish player and touch up on, 40-ish goals and be a power forward force that this team has lacked for a very, very long time. I'm obviously, big in the hockey card market, and I was surprised. I saw a stat the other day that over the course of the summer, Matthew Nyes has the 5th most sold cards over the course of the summer. Yeah, that's like of all time, like of every player. That's including like Gretzky's and Crosby's and McDavid's. Yeah, so over the summer,
damn,